It's the Shatkin First Down Pregame Show, presented by Dr. Todd Shatkin and the Aesthetic Associates Center, with your hosts, Rich Gaenzler and Dr. Jared Shatkin, and our special guest, Buffalo Bills alum Stevie Johnson. Now, from the Shatkin Sports Network studios in Amherst, here are your hosts, Rich Gaenzler and Jared Shatkin.
Welcome to another edition of the Shatkin First Down Buffalo Pregame Show. Rich Gaenzler, Dr. Jared Shatkin, a cast of, well, some people face thousands. They're on the other side of the camera. You, Bills Mafia, joining us today. The Mafia in studio will be here as well as a special Bills guest as well. It is a good thing, Jared, that we weren't doing this the day after the Texans game, because there would be fire coming out of our noses and mouths and ears and the whole thing, right?
Yeah, I haven't watched much football the rest of the week. I didn't even watch the new Bills holiday movie. That's how upset I was. I'm not wearing Bills gear. I need them to prove it to me before I go back in the Bills gear.
Yeah, I mean, look, they started 4-0. They're 3-4 in their last 7 and looking like it, right?
Yeah, they're looking like a team that's very inconsistent.
Yeah.
So we're talking last week about how the offense found a rhythm. No, we're just kidding. We're not actually finding our rhythm. We're stuck in the mud again versus Houston. The offensive line gets beat up for 8 sacks. Josh can't get in a rhythm. Just a very tough game.
But again, trending, it's Atlanta. It's Miami. Here's Houston. Every one of those 3 road games, you think to yourself going in, no brainer, Bills win, easy. And something in my brain thinks that they think going into these games what we think in terms of what they should do to these teams, and then they get schooled.
Yeah, I mean, short week going against the best defense in the league. It's not too hard to see that it was a little bit of a trap game, but I just didn't want to see it. I wanted Josh to kind of prevail. I wanted that offense to figure it out. And, I think that it was really hard for Josh to get started. I don't get me wrong. I think he missed some open throws. I think he didn't have his best game. But I think overall, the problem was the pass rush of Houston. They had a really strong front four, and it was like we couldn't stop him. Every single play, it seemed like he was under duress, and I didn't like what was going on out there.
And you said it. I mean, they only rushed 4 pretty much the entire game. And what did Joe Brady do about it? Virtually nothing. No help, no chipping, nothing on Hunter and Anderson off the edge.
Yeah, they were clearly dominating from the snap one, and he thought our left tackle and right tackle, Brown and Dawkins, were good enough to get through the game. And, even with small injuries throughout the game by Dawkins and Brown, they still didn't get some help for him. They thought Josh could beat the pass rush, and he just couldn't. And it really looked like a tough game for us. It looked like, exactly, we're stuck in the mud offensively. And then you get to a point where Josh is looking for the rush before he's looking for his receivers, and we're back to a point where we're just moving the ball very, very methodically down the field, and we still have a chance to win. And guess who makes the real mistake at the end of the game? Deion Dawkins. The whole game he made mistakes, and he goes and false start, and we're 4th and 6, and we don't have a chance to win.
Yeah, crazy. And if you think about it, too, on that 4th and 6 play, if there's that offensive PI that happens, if there isn't the INT, it's 4th and 21 at that point, right? So either way, they're behind. Mm-hmm. Now, look, I mean, I know we want to, criticize the team a lot because that's probably a game we should have won. I mean, Davis Mills is, if it's possible, I really didn't think it was possible. He's more boring than Daniel Jones, and still they were able to generate points against this Bills defense. But think about it. The Bills didn't have to do much offensively to win this game, and they still couldn't get it done.
First of all, the defense let up 20 points in the first half, which kind of ruined the whole game from there. Because at that point, you can win a messy game, but we let up 20 points to Davis Mills, who throughout the whole first half, all I kept saying to myself is, I'm so glad the backup quarterback's in the game, because the guy is looking at one receiver and missing tons of open receivers, and it's not like he's playing great out there. It's just that the defense has holes all over the place. Our pass rush didn't have any sacks again. That's another game with no sacks, and it's very difficult to get going when you let up 20 points to the Texans in the first half, and then you think maybe we can make some adjustments on offense in the second half and figure it out. But it just seems like Joe Brady gets to these points where he really doesn't have an answer for the other defense, and I don't know. I think there does have to be a coaching change that happens. Not this year. It's a little too late in the year. But if things continue to go like this and we don't get to that next level, it's time to see Joe Brady out the door.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that happened in this game. I mean, the Josh on the sideline, everyone's seen the the video and what are we doing here, screaming at Trubisky. And then, it's the first time with 3 turnovers in 3 straight games since 2006, since pre-Josh. I mean, these are troubling instances. Forget about the injuries now you mentioned Spencer Brown. We don't know what he's going to be like. Bernard, Hairston coming out of concussion protocol. Now, granted, he's had almost 10 days to get ready for this game. He's out and able to play in this game. But, man, it just seems to go the other way. Instead of stacking wins, they're stacking issues week in and week out.
Yeah, you're stacking issues week in and week out. And what are we going to put Keon Coleman back in? What's going on there? Josh is saying, what are we doing? I agree. What are we doing giving the ball to James Cook? He had just ran the ball 4 straight times. He was clearly exhausted. We throw him back on the field just to run the play. We run every single time in short yardage situations. This offense is a mess. The defense is a mess. Good thing we're 7-4. We still got a chance to straighten it out.
Yeah, they're in last place in terms of the playoffs. They're in 7th place, so the final wild card spot. It's interesting because people are saying, oh, the Jets game, that won't be their. It might be their last game at Highmark because they may not have a home playoff game when it's all said and done. But other things, I mean, there were some good things. Ray Davis is having a coming out party in terms of the special teams.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think he should have got the ball on offense after he does something like that. He looks like he's running hungry. He's breaking tackles. He's reading his blocks well. And it's really nice to have a spark on special teams and to be able to get great field position throughout the game and then to get a touchdown. So that was awesome. The way they celebrated with the special teams coach, that was awesome. There were some good things that happened in that game. Being able to go the whole second half and give up 3 points, that was also great.
Yep.
So there are definitely positives to take from that game, but I think the negatives outweigh the positives.
Yeah, and I just think to wrap, I think that we have to, as fans, go back to your word, consistency. How about stringing 3 wins together? Forget about 2. How about 3? So it starts, obviously, this week against the Steelers, which we'll talk about coming up. But the Mafia in a couple segments, special Bills guest comes up next. Stay right here. This is the Shatkin First Down Buffalo Pregame Show.
Hi, I'm Dr. Todd Shatkin here with Hall of Fame running back Thurman Thomas.
My family and I have been coming to Dr. Shatkin's dental office for years. The office is beautiful and the staff is outstanding.
Thanks, Thurman. It's been an honor for me to take care of you and your family.
For a Hall of Fame smile, go where the pros go. Dr. Todd Shatkin at the Aesthetic Associates Center.
Call today for a free consultation, 839-1700.
Look, I've said this a million zillion times. One of my favorite Bills ever. Only because, when we were in the locker room and we would bust on him when he was playing in Buffalo and have some fun with him, he always played along. He always played along, man. Stevie Johnson joins us. Great to see you, brother.
Well, thanks for having me on, man. Yeah, I appreciate the time. It's always good because I understand you got to do your job, and it's a part of what we do to provide for the fans. So
happy Thanksgiving, by the way, in advance.
Same to you, family. Give
me 5 guys, 5 Bills that you would want at Thanksgiving dinner table. This is a tough question because it's a lot.
No, it's not. Because it's just gonna bring me back to my guys that I was in the locker room.
Here we go.
I'm my dude Fred. I'm bringing out Fitz. D Jones is gonna be out there. I'm bringing out my other receiver, Naaman, and then I'm bringing out who else? Who else we got?
David Nelson.
It's out of D Nelson, or I'm thinking of a tight end because I like Lee Smith too. Lee Smith always got the party started. People don't know about Lee. He's a sleeper, But when you talk about those energy guys, let me see. Like in hockey, you got the fighters.
Yeah.
The one that's out there, to show he was that. He was that guy. He always was either getting a penalty or just doing something a little extra. And you need that on your team. You need that dynamic. So I don't want to leave him out off the dinner table, and I think David will understand.
So let's talk a little bit about this team right now, right? Obviously, they were in place they could have won the game at the end, despite all the bad things that happened. They could have won the game, which sounds crazy, but how having played in the game,
how do those guys, man? It was the first time we've seen Josh be that frustrated in a long time on the sideline, and he got knocked around, man. 8 sacks, and most times he's ever been sacked. Got hit 20 times or something, like ridiculous number. So what do they do? And granted, they've had this before the next game 8-9 days, which is nice. Heal up, guys get healthier. Max hopefully is back from concussion protocol, but like, how do you heal as a team coming off that kind of performance where it was there? You could have had it, you could have won, but you didn't.
I would say, just getting straight to it, is Josh is in the fire right now because he got to evolve. He's evolved multiple times as his career has gone on in the league. He went from being, the young guy who has to save the franchise. And so he put it all out on the line, turned into the ultimate playmaker. That was an evolution from rookie to playmaker. And then he turned into a guy where, all right, now let's put some pieces around him. You put in a few guys, Beasley, John Brown, and then you add a guy like, and he shows that he's able to do that. So he became elite. And then you put another elite guy in Stephon Diggs with him. Let's see if they can go to the next level. Let's see if our quarterback can go to the next level. And what did they do for 3 straight years? Boom, next level. So that was an evolution. And it was easy, though, because you had another dog with you. Now he's in a position where it's like, okay, he won an MVP. Now what's next? And he's in that it's a funk. That's what we're seeing. We're literally, we're talking about the game within the game, and why was he so frustrated? Why is he like, hey, what's going on? What are we doing out there? It's because he's in the evolution that he got to understand. What did we see, Bull, when we was watching the game back, 10 years ago? It was Peyton Manning's, it was Tom Brady's, it was Ben Roethlisberger's. And what were they doing when they got a play call from their OC or head coach and they didn't like the play? They up there saying, check, check, check. We go run this, we go do that. Hey, I want you to run this route. Fitzpatrick, hey, I know we got this play call, but Stevie, me and you on this connection, so I want you to do that. That's what we're not seeing from Josh right now. And that's okay. He just got to understand he don't have to listen to the coach's call. This is why I say this. I don't want to make it sound too, but this is why I say this. It was 4th and 1. And then we called a counter play where you hand the ball off 5 yards in the backfield against the number 1 defense. It's like, you got to understand as a quarterback, okay, that's not the right play right now. Let me get to the line. Hey, check. Hey, guys, we running that tush push that we ran earlier, got almost 7 yards on it. That's the evolution that he's got to do.
Happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy it. Eat too much.
Yes, sir. All right, boy, be cool.
Peace, man. Thank you.
One love.
Okay, team, we're down by 6 with only 1 play left. It's comeback time.
Yeah.
We need a play. The reverse ribeye, no good. The porterhouse pitch, too risky. The strip steak sweep, that's it. Go Russell.
Touchdown.
Where would you like to have dinner tonight?
Russell's, of course.
Be my guest and let us do the rest.
I was in a car accident. My front tooth cracked. I'm definitely embarrassed to smile. I got mini dental implants. It changed my life because it made me feel like me. Like I can smile and feel like Ashley. I just want to say thank you.
Mini dental implants can change your life too. You can be you again. Call us at 839-1700 for a free consultation.
I'm more than happy. I'm ecstatic.
Welcome back to the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show. It's time to go in the pocket. All right, Sam's back. Sam Castronova from the UFL. We're in the pocket. He's a pro quarterback. We're talking quarterbacks, but I also want to give you the opportunity to gush a little bit because before he came out of the air, you were a little fired up, my man.
I was. I mean, just because as a quarterback, when I see my star left tackle is supposed to have my back, when I see him as severely out of shape, giving up midway through a play, and I'm getting sacked 3 different times in that game, and false starting because he looks like he's close to 400 pounds. I'm upset. I'm upset as a fan. He looks like he's 400 pounds up there. He's laughing immediately after the game. He talked about Keon Coleman. He needs to hold him accountable. He needs to hold himself accountable and get on the freaking treadmill during this break.
All right. That's all we wanted.
I had to get that out.
Smoke
I'm sorry.
coming out. Can we superimpose some smoke coming out of Sam's nose and ears and
He's got a mini
bye
bye week. I hope a bunch of days are spent on the freaking treadmill.
Right? All right. So Aaron Rodgers, let's talk a little bit about him. Obviously not, anywhere like he was when he was an MVP, but he's still obviously a smart guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's got obviously the skills, not like he used to, but he's able to make plays.
His arm still looks great.
Yeah.
He can still make every throw. Like you said, he can't move quite like he used to, but they don't seem to help him a ton with the play calling. It's like either getting it out right away or he's sitting checking it down. So it's kind of the similar game plan like we just played Davis Mills. I thought they did a great job in the second half. The first half, if we can stop the run and make them get into obvious passing situations, we'll be successful, but we haven't shown we've always stopped the run. So if we can do that, but I mean, Rodgers, like I said, he can still make every throw, so you still got to play him and play him true.
Yeah, and you got to believe that he still wants to win. He's in another iconic city, so you got to believe he wants to win, and he's giving them all. He didn't want to be benched against the Bears, that's for sure. And then, of course,
I own you.
Yeah, right, exactly. All right, get rid of that thing, and we're going to see him in the Mafia. Welcome back to the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show. Time for the Mafia. Jared, Sam, Bobby DeVito, we've known many times before. And Greg Brown from The Challenger. We've seen him before many times on the show. Welcome back.
Thank you, and thanks for having me.
We don't have Ivy Leaguers very often, if ever, on this show, so thanks for that.
Neither do the Bills, and we lost with what we had, Michael Hoyt, another Brown guy.
Right?
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
That's true.
Well, let's start with you then, Greg, because before we came on the air, we were talking a little bit about everything going on with this team, and you asked me what my insider information is, and I didn't have much for you. So I'll ask you, what do you think the problem with the Bills is? Why can't we stack wins, and why are we typically, it seems, playing down to opponents that we should be winning against?
Well, it's kind of multi-leveled, multi-layered. I think it starts on defense. The Bills don't have a Super Bowl caliber defense, and they're not going to get one before the end of the year. So I think that, Brandon Beane made some good faith efforts to fix that side of the ball. Unfortunately, injuries have kind of wrecked that plan. On the offensive side, I'm not sure what's happened. They've got pretty much the same cast of characters as last year, but it appears that the receivers can't get open in a way that allows them to get sufficient separation. And frankly, I think Joe Brady has lost a step with his play calling.
Yeah.
If I see another bubble screen to Shakir, I'm going to gag.
Greg is here to calm things down from Sam's craziness, because I know Bob was pretty crazy too in our little pre-show meeting. So, Bob, do you want to get something off your chest?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I wore number 12 today for Jim Kelly, and I hope Brady's watching, because we need to go to the K-gun. Josh Allen can handle the K-gun. I think he would do great in it. It would also maybe minimize our offensive line that everybody thinks is so good, which is not good. By throwing the ball quicker and faster, the receivers might be able to get open, because they're not open during the game a lot. They should consider the K-gun during certain parts of the game. Up-tempo, move the ball, move the chain. I don't want to hear this, got to keep the defense on the bench. It's time to change.
Look, this was Sam saying, but I don't know if his left tackle could keep up with a K-gun.
Not currently. Holy cow.
Well,
that's Sam's thing, not mine. I'm just saying.
Too many commercials on a lot of the players.
See, that's funny. I'll ask all you guys about this, because it's an easy, if you want to call it an excuse, because everyone's trying to rationalize why this team who's been so good, again, mid-season always seems to struggle. And then all of a sudden it comes week 11, week 12, and then they go off, right? And there's nothing wrong with that, Jared, right?
No, I mean, a lot of people's excuses is that Joe Brady and the offense is hiding something for the postseason. But at this point, we're so down in the division, all these games really matter. So I don't think they're hiding anything anymore. I don't think there's anything wrong with getting hot at the end of the season and playing your best football in January. But the problem is it's the roster. Right now, you don't see the talent out there that can put it on in January. In 2021, you had guys like Diggs and Davis and Knox and a bunch of guys who were playing really good football that you could see turning it around. But it doesn't seem like you kind of have the horses in the stable right now.
And Sam, let's talk a little bit about the defense, because second half,
The defense was fantastic. I think it's putting a whole game together, right? You play the game. People talk about halftime adjustments. What really happens at halftime, right? It's a game-long progression, right?
Yeah, and I mean, it was nice to see them hold them to 3 points in the second half, but Davis Mill played 2 or 3 games before that, and I think the most they scored was 20 points. Obviously that they were getting held to low-scoring games the whole time, and they scored 20 points in the first half against us. So I don't know how that happens or why that happens. Somebody said that Babbage was calling plays in the first half and McDermott's taking them over in the second half. Maybe that's the case. I don't know, but I don't even know at this point. I'm just hoping we can somehow go on a run like Jared said in the playoffs, but. Like, the division's over with.
Yeah, well, pretty much. I mean, at this point, 3 games back, with 5 to play, it doesn't look great at all for this team, or 6 to play for the Bills. They have 1 at hand. That's one thing people forget. The Bills do have a game at hand to the Patriots. So let's talk a little bit about, this team moving forward, because it sounds to you like there's some disorganization at the top, right? With who's calling plays, who's not, who's involved, who's not. Why can't we? There's too many questions being asked at this point in the season. Mm-hmm. It's got to get better. So going back to Bob's point about, they're doing too many commercials. I mean, I've heard a lot about that. Deion's doing his stuff. Josh is doing his stuff. And they need to concentrate more on football.
Well, they do all that in the offseason.
I agree, 100%. But I know people want to rationalize as to why they are what they are. Let's do the trivia, then we'll get your predictions, okay? I think this is a pretty easy one for you guys. 0-4 Bills Steelers. They win the game to make the playoffs, right? Here come the Steelers. They're 14-1 coming into this game, right? So they sit a bunch of guys, right? And Pittsburgh, with a bunch of backups, beats the Bills and eliminates them. So, needless to say, there wouldn't have been a drought had the Bills won that game. Question is, who was the backup quarterback for the Steelers in that game?
Tommy Maddox.
Tommy Maddox. Again, Jared carries the club, winning the Sorrentinos. Everybody eats because of Dr. Jared Shatkin. Man, you are on a roll. This is like 5 or 6 in a row, man.
Nice.
Man.
I'm taking his Tino's stuff.
Okay. All right. Now score predictions very quickly before we go to break. Greg, you first.
I'm going to go with Pittsburgh at 24-17.
Okay, we got a Steeler pick.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm going Pittsburgh 28, Buffalo 20.
Ooh, Sam, you're wearing Steeler colors.
I'm wearing Steeler colors. I'm trying to throw things off here. I'm trying to mix
You know
things
who's
up.
not that good either is Atlanta or Miami.
Yeah, I'm trying to mix things up. I got the Bills 21, Pittsburgh 13.
All right, our predictions coming up, guys. Thank you again for being aboard on a tougher Mafia segment than normal, for sure. We're coming back with more after this on the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show.
It's apple picking time. When was the last time you bit into an apple? With affordable Shatkin mini dental implants, you can. Stabilize your dentures and replace missing teeth in as little as 1 visit. You can be you again, only better. Call the Aesthetic Associate Center today at 716-839-1700 for your free consultation.
It means a lot to be able to work with my dad to continue this legacy that we have going on.
I had many implants. Once I got them, it was like the old me came back.
The changes you can make in such a short period of time in somebody's life, have somebody in the chair crying because they finally have a full set of teeth. And I think the only way to do it in that type of time period for that type of price is really the mini implant.
Mini dental implants can change your life too. Call us at 839-1700 for a free consultation.
All right, welcome back to the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show. Rich Gaenzler, Dr. Jared Shatkin, talking about the Steelers. A great road trip for Bills fans. Obviously, it's not far from here. Get down there and go to, what's it called now? Does anybody know what it's not Heinz Field? I mean, I think it'll always be Heinz Field.
Shire?
Right? Acrisure? Is that
something
right?
like that.
Yeah, whatever. It's boring and stupid. Anyway, let's talk about the Steelers game. Obviously, I would assume Aaron Rodgers is going to play. He probably could have played last week, but chose not to with the wrist. He does not scare me at all, not only because of his lack of mobility, but I've seen a lot of inconsistency out of him. He's not racking up, incredibly great numbers in any statistical category. And quite frankly, he doesn't have a lot to throw to.
No, I mean, the Steelers don't really scare me all that much altogether, but neither did Houston. But I think offensively, the Steelers, yeah, they have DK Metcalf and then a bunch of dudes, and their running back pairs kind of leave some to be desired, although Kenneth Gainwell has started to come on as of late. They have some players, but it's not a team that should get in offensively and score 35 points.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, you got a couple of guys in Gainwell and Warren. I mean, those are the only two guys that really scare me at all, and we haven't been good against the run, right?
Yeah.
So why not be scared of those guys even, right? But I want to flip it over to the defense, because the defense for me, and go back to the offense quickly, big tight ends, obviously. We know about Mount Washington. He's going to truck somebody on the Bills probably. But over to the defense now. If you just look at their roster and their names, they are loaded, and it just blows my mind that they are not near the top of the NFL in defense. They're not. They're good. I think they're 6th or 7th in sacks. They have 9 picks, but they're not great at all with Watt and Highsmith and Herbig and Ramsey and Joey Porter Jr. and Darius Slay. I mean, go down the list of guys on their roster. They're terrific. They're +8 in turnovers, but they're not awesome at all.
No, they let up 35 points to the Jets in that Week 1 game. I think they had a stretch where they were playing very poorly on defense. They're starting to figure it out recently, but they can be beat. You can beat these guys through the air. If you scheme up a good game and you get our guys open, Josh can find them and he can have a big game throwing the football.
So a couple of stats really quickly. This is going to shock probably everybody. The Bills have the most 20-plus yard completions of anybody in the league, and they have the second most 40-plus yard completions of anybody in the league. So big plays are in their bag, but the problem is they just haven't been able to string enough of them together.
Well, it's the in-between, too. It's staying on schedule.
Yep.
It's, Khalil Shakir has a couple big plays in that game, but in between it, you have a bunch of 3-and-outs and you stall out. I think that this is a game where the Bills can get right offensively in terms of their passing game. They have to stick with it, and I do think this is going to be a bounce-back game for the offensive line. I mean, that's really, to me, was their first bad game all season. So I think they have 10 days to rest, and they can have a strong start, and they can look good against Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I certainly hope that's the case, because bottom line, they have to, if I'm the Steelers, I'm just getting after Josh every possible way I can. I don't know if that's how he'll be coached up or not, but we'll see. Okay, what do you think of the score for this game?
I like the Bills again. I have picked the Bills the last 3 games, and I'm 1-3 in those picks, or 1-2 in those picks, but I like the Bills 24-21.
24-21, close game. I have the same differential. But look, I mean, I have a problem with this team, and until they prove it to me on the road, I'm not going to believe in them. I think it's going to be a close game, to your point, but I'm going to take the Steelers in this game, 23-20. Somehow Rodgers finds out a way to do it. I know Fredo's going to come up over my head when the Bills win. Obviously, I want the Bills to win, but I just have very little faith until they show it to me that they can do it, that they can rush the passer, they can get in Rodgers' face, they can knock him down, make him ineffective. I have to see it. Apologies, Bills fans. All right, well, we got to thank all of our guests, obviously the Mafia, for you watching as well. And we got to thank our sponsors, Dr. Todd Shatkin, you, Dr. Jared, thank you. Aesthetic Associates, Sorrentinos, Russells, and Napoli's as well. Let's go Bills. Big one, 425 down to the Berg, the Stillers. Bills and Stillers coming up. This has been the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show. Go Bills.
In the Pocket is sponsored by Mini Dumpster Rental. Call 716-429-6362. This has been a production of the Shatkin Sports Network.